Welcome to episode 37 of the Rise Fitness and Nutrition Podcast. I am your host, Carlo. Today, I would like to talk about an interesting experiment that I found in which we can see how the mind influences the way your body perceives satisfaction deriving from food. If you enjoy this podcast, a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts will be super useful. Happy listening! We all had that moment when we feel hungry, but are we hungry? Or are we hungry? Now I know that this sounds exactly the same, but I also think that you understood the difference. So when you're hungry, it means that you really are hungry. You want to eat something. But sometimes when you're hungry, maybe you saw something. You saw maybe an advertisement, or you walked in front of a restaurant or a bakery and you had the chance to smell the delicious food they were cooking, and then you felt hungry. But is it hunger? Like physical hunger? Is it mind hunger? Now, we talked about this in other podcasts. When you're hungry is because of an hormone called ghrelin. When ghrelin starts raging, it tells your body that you need food now. So your metabolism slightly slows down until you actually do get some food, because your body goes in this quote-unquote emergency situation where it needs food, and the metabolism slows down in case it takes you longer to find the food. Now, these modern days is no longer the case, so the fact that your metabolism slows down, it's actually not that important. But back in the days, when finding food was an issue, you can imagine that if your metabolism didn't slow down and it kept on burning regularly, if you could eat maybe on Monday and then find something else to eat on Friday, between Monday and Friday, and your metabolism running crazy as usual, that would have been an issue. That's why when you're hungry, we still have this kind of all-time signal that slows down your body, so you don't waste too much energy until you can get some food in. Little background story about this. Now, when you are no longer hungry is because another hormone called leptin kicks in and tells your ghrelin it's time to go to sleep. So your metabolism starts going a little bit faster, because if you had food, you had to process it. So your body needs to burn more energy to take care of what you ate. And that's when leptin keeps ghrelin calm. Imagine this. Ghrelin is your happy pet. And when ghrelin sees you, goes crazy, starts like playing, running around, jumping, and doing all sorts of stuff. And when you're actually petting it, it slows down and it's chill and it's relaxed. That's what happens between ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is super excited when you're hungry. When you eat some food, it's like petting ghrelin and calming it down. As easy as that. But there's something I'd like to discuss today. So ghrelin, your hunger hormone, is not necessarily only exclusively triggered by physiological response. So sometimes your mind can play tricks on your ghrelin, and as a consequence can play trick on your hunger, and it's something that you might want to be aware of. It's a little bit of a psychological trick, if you want to say. So I found this very interesting study from 2011. You must say, oh, that's really old. Still, I think it's very interesting because the concept behind it gives an idea on how your brain and your perception can change the response in your ghrelin. And the test is simple. It's called Mind over Milkshakes, Mindsets, Not Just Nutrients, Determine Ghrelin Response. So the object of this test was to measure whether physiological satiation, considering the gut peptide ghrelin, may vary depending on the mindset in which one approaches consumption of food. As easy said, is your mind influencing your hunger response, considering if you approach the same food with a different mindset? And here is how the test worked. The creators prepared one single huge batch of milkshake and they divided it into different batches. But the content was exactly the same. What they did is that they named one shake the sensible shake, and the other one the indulgent shake. So the sensible shake, on the label, they wrote down that it was guilt-free, fat-free, sugar-free, and it was only 140 calories. Whereas on the other hand, the indulgent shake, on the label, they basically wrote that it was going to make you fat and it was going to be delicious, but also 620 calories per drink. Now the participants, these 46 people, consumed the very same shake on two separate occasions. On one time they were given the labeled with the sensible shake, and on the other occasion they were given the label indulgent shake. As a way to measure their reactions, the ghrelin was measured 3 times. As a baseline, 1 hour before the shake and 1 hour and a half after the shake. Now, in between the baseline measurement and the moment of the consumption of the shake, the participants were asked to view and rate the misleading label of the shakes. And then during the second interval between 60 minutes and 90 minutes, the participants were then actually asked to drink the milkshake and then rate it. The mindset of the participants that consumed the indulgence shake, the one that supposedly was 600 calories, produced a dramatic decline in ghrelin after the consumption. That means that when they drank this shake that they thought it was a lot of calories, their hunger signal declined super quick as their body told them, okay, I'm full, fine, now time to rest. Whereas on the other hand, the mindset of the sensible shake drinkers didn't particularly change the ghrelin response. That meant that they still felt hungry, or pretty much as hungry as before drinking the shake, because the brain was convinced that they had something that was 140 calories, therefore not enough. Mind you, the two shakes were exactly the same, and both had 380 calories. So what changed was the perception of the shake they were drinking based on the label and the name of the product and the calories that supposedly the product had. So what does this tell? That, surprise, surprise, your brain can really mediate your hunger response. Now, far from saying that this is like a diet advice, but imagine this. If you're having a really tiny salad that's basically some tomatoes and some greens and maybe a little bit of protein inside, versus a very rich salad that has lots of veggies, different types of greens, protein, and a little bit of mozzarella cheese, for example. Although the calories in the two dishes are different, but the rich salad not only will make you feel fuller because there's more food, but it will also make you feel fuller because it makes you feel satisfied. Whereas on the other hand, the first salad, not only is poor in nutrients, but also doesn't make you feel satisfied. So what are the chances that you might decide to have something else after that meal? If you had a tiny salad, way higher chances that you might still be super hungry because, first of all, you didn't eat a lot, but also you're not satisfied. But on the other hand, if you had a rich salad that make you satisfied both in your stomach and also in your mind, chances are it might be a lot easier for you to stick to your nutrition plan and get normally to the next meal. Whereas if you don't eat enough in the first place and you're not satisfied in the second place, chances are you might fall off the wagon pretty easily. And you might simply say, oh, well, I'm just going to have a frappuccino, or I'm just going to have this candy bar, or I'm just going to have this, I'm just going to have that. And this and that add a lot of calories. And that not only will make you go over your macronutrients, therefore going over your daily goal in the first place, but secondly, might also trigger some guilt response, like, oh, I ate too much, oh, screw it, I'm gonna have some more, whatever, today is completely destroyed. So yes, it is a matter of the weight of the calories, sure, but it's also a matter of your mindset. If you're eating something that you know will not make you satisfied mentally, then you might consider switching to have something that makes you more satisfied mentally and that makes it easier for you to go from one meal to the other while staying in your macronutrients. So when you see people that are on a diet and they just eat a really tiny, sad, calorie empty salad versus somebody that has a rich salad, well, consider that. Who is going to be the one that most easily sticks to the plan? The person that has the rich salad. And I'm talking about this from a simple perspective of imagination, but also from a personal perspective. There are days where I don't have much food left in the fridge and I realize when it's too late, so I don't have the chance to go to the groceries and buy anything. So more than often, I was basically having a really sad salad with some greens, some proteins, and maybe one little tomato, and that was it. And it was so dissatisfactory that I did end up snacking around. And that was not okay, because then again it triggered other responses like, oh man, I'm eating this crap here and it's not okay. Whereas on the other hand, if I have a rich salad, I can reach my next meal at ease. And I feel great and I feel satisfied. I don't feel any kind of guilt. But most importantly, I don't feel like a crazy hunger that comes from my physical dissatisfaction, but most importantly, for your mind dissatisfaction. So keep that in mind. And that's it for today's episode. See, so many things can be influenced by a simple perception on what we're having. Now I know this sounds a little bit too much ethereal, but think about it next time you're approaching a milkshake. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends, and if you had the chance to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, that would be awesome! Happy rest of the week!